Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you're having a blessed and productive day. If not, hang in there. It's going to get better. It always does. Farmer Ross here to give you some information. I'm representing Kingdom Teacher today for all my educators out there or those who like to just impart knowledge. You can go to kingdomcalvary.com and pick up this shirt or others. We have a ton of Christian-based shirts on our site, and I encourage you to visit it, kingdomcalvary.com. But I received a lot of positive feedback on the other video I made in regards to how to make peppermint oil. So I want to show you something new. Today we're going to be looking at something that's in most lotions, perfumes, oils, potpourri, lavender, right? Everybody loves the scent of lavender, including bees. Whenever you plant a lavender flower like this, you will notice that it's going to attract bees in the garden, which is excellent. You want to have the bees in the garden because the bees are what helps pollinate everything around here. So here is what you're going to do. The other issue that you have is that you actually have to compete with bees when you're harvesting lavender. Why? Because the nectar in it feeds the bees. So the bees want it. And the bees will literally hang on and eat at these purple flowers. That's good for the bees, but if you want to harvest lavender to its fullest, it's a little bit difficult. So here's what you're going to do. To harvest it, you don't want to cut it at the base or remove the base of it because that will hurt the plant. What you're going to do is harvest it right about the midway point right here. Follow me. All right, cool. So first thing you're gonna do, unlike the mint or the peppermint that I did the other day, it's not just about watering it, washing it off or anything like that. Lavender, the best way you have lavender is to dry it, right? I tend to dry it out so that it can be added to your oils, okay? So you see how I cut it right at the base? I didn't destroy the plant. Remember, by harvesting and cutting at the base right here, midway point of the stem, it's still going to continue the plant growing, okay? So what I do is once I do this, I then tie some string, or you can do a rubber band, and you tie the different stalks together and you hang it in your basement for a few days. And I say basement because it's a nice, cool area. So if you don't have a basement, if you have a nice, cool, dry room, you hang it in there. You can put it in a closet, and it actually smells up your closet, which is good too. And then you hang it. And within a couple of days, this is going to look like this. And if you can come closer, Anaya, thank you, you can hear that crinkly sound. That's where you want to have the lavender. So what I do is I have a little plate to pick up anything that might break off, and I just fold it. See how that crinkling sound? You hear that? Yeah, that's how you want it. I already have the oil made already. I actually already put some stalks in there, and then you just put it in. You take your spoon. You don't have to buy a fancy mortar and pestle. If you want to do that, look jazzy, you can, but you don't have to do that. And you just press in so that all the oils can basically get out of the lavender. All right, all this stuff. You just press it in. All right, just like that. Now, here is one thing that I'm gonna add in a little bit more. In my garden, I also grow rosemary. Rosemary, very, very powerful, delicious smelling herb that people put on their chicken. You know, you can put on, anywhere, any of your food. But you can also use rosemary as well as part of your scent. So what I do is I just harvested, just clipped it off, and I'm gonna put my rosemary in there. Anything I put in, I always wanna kind of like get the oils out. So I twist it, I put it in, I press it. There you go, just like life. You know, sometimes life will throw you a handball, right? A fastball. But if you follow God's will, all right, eventually all those twists, all those turns, all those beat things that you're gonna go through are gonna make you a better person, right? It's gonna relinquish and move out the oils within all of us. So keep pushing for those who are having a hard time. That's just pressing you for your assignment. Now what I want to do is I'm going to throw the oil on top of it. I don't have too much lavender in here so you don't have to fill it to the brim. You just want to fill it. This is my fault. This is actually olive oil. And you may say, why am I using olive oil? Well, in fancy terms, we call this carrier. That carrier is what literally carries the lavender oil, the rosemary to your product, right? It carries the essential oils for you. Everything has a carrier oil, right? Now, it's not like your thing's gonna be smelling like olive oil. It might smell a little bit about it, but olive oil is pretty cool. And the more lavender you have, you're not even gonna smell the olive oil. But if you look at most of the oils you buy in the store, it has some form of a carrier. If you don't like olive oil, then you can also get something like grapeseed oil. But oil is a basic carrier that's in most oils, essential oils that we use from the store. All right, so this is about what we want to have. You just want the oil right on top of the lavender. Don't overdo it. You press it down. Your cap, make sure there's no air in it. You shake it. Like I said, sometimes life throws you a hard ball, curve ball. It's gonna be shaking you. But within due time, guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have some nice oil. Now, what am I gonna do with this? I'm gonna put this in the sunniest area that you can find. Leave this there in the sunny area for I'll probably say a week. Now, if you really want it infused, I mean, you could keep it in longer. It's gonna be a heat wave in Philly, the Philadelphia area. So I would keep this in for a week. That should suffice. And I'll show you a video in a week on how to properly filter your oil when you're done. But every time you go outside, you want to shake it. Folks, that's the lesson for today. Hopefully it has gained, you gain some wisdom from it. I encourage you to go outside and just interact with nature. God put this out here for us to use. If you don't have a big backyard, if you can just get a pot, that's all you need to start. DM me if you have any questions on how to create some of the things that I'm doing for you, or you want to plant anything, any question that you have, feel free to DM me. Apart from that, have a blessed day with a purpose.